Hello and welcome to the Royal Survivor 45 podcast. I am your host, King, joined here by my mother.
Hello.
How you doing, Mom?
I'm good. How are you?
You know,
Oh,
it's whatever.
okay.
You're having a great hair day today.
Oh, thank you.
But I'm a little bummed because of Survivor, it always is just bumming me out now. I don't know why I keep watching it. Oh, because we do this podcast.
Why are you so bummed out?
Well, I can't tell you because we have to go in order of what happens, silly.
Oh, because I thought you were kind of bummed about who got voted off.
Oh, well, that too, yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought you were going to say.
I'm bummed about everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're all trying to vote for Julie.
Right?
And doesn't work because she plays her idol because Austin let her keep it, and then no one told anyone else that she had an idol, and so nobody thought she had one except for the people in the group voting for her, and then Dee tells her because they said don't tell Dee, and Austin told Dee, and so Dee said, hey, Julie, play this idol, and she's like,
breathe.
Well, that's just, these people are driving me crazy sometimes. And then Emily, one of the good characters, gets voted out because she became a threat. And she kind of blew her own game up by saying, hey, you know that really cool play that just happened? I did that. So everyone goes, you did that? Well, we don't want you here anymore.
Yeah.
What the hell, people?
Yeah. She should have saved that for the final three jury.
Yeah.
You know, to say, yeah, that was my idea.
Let Bruce talk at Ponderosa about how she mind gamed him or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, we get back from Tribal this episode, and it is eerie quiet, because nobody's happy about what happened, except Dee, but she's faking. And then Julie even says, she's like, pretty awkward, huh? And eventually they all say, hey, you know, great play, you know, it is what it is at this point. And then Dee ends up saying, I'm the only one that's actually happy she's still here, but I gotta pretend like I'm pissed. And she gets asked by Drew and Austin. Well, first Drew asks Austin, do you think Dee told? And he's like, no way she would have told. Then they both ask her and she goes, no, I don't know how she found out. And they just believe her. Come on! She's been with this woman the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it looks like they believe her.
Yeah.
If anybody, I think, really believes her is Austin.
Yeah.
Not so sure about Drew believing her.
He's just like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't even think he ends up saying whether he believes her or not. He just goes like, oh, okay.
Right.
You know,
right.
So he could be thinking about, a lot of times we see them react to something, but then they change their mind, but they don't show us them changing their mind. So
Yeah.
It just, oh my gosh, I'm just so irked right now. So.
Well, I don't know if you caught this, like, I think it was Jake says, where did you find it?
And she goes, it's a long story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because, you know, he didn't know.
Right.
Drew didn't know.
Yep.
You know, like you said, it was just the four that knew she had
The Rebas knew she had it, and they didn't feel like sharing that with anyone. So
Right.
I guess maybe Austin would be afraid if he said Julie has an idol to them, she'd go, well, Austin has one and he gave me this one or whatever.
Mhm.
But Julie wants it to see, she got all self-absorbed and said like, oh, this is my idol now, you know?
Right.
But at the same time, if she just it's more impressive if you find it yourself. So if she tells them, oh, this was given to me, it's not as impressive. So of course she's not going to say that.
So that's smart on her.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's not her idol, but you don't want anyone to think that. So.
But she could have lied too.
Yeah.
And said, "Oh, it was, you know, in one of them funky trees or something, you know." But she didn't. She just
said long story.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's all that. Her and Drew end up having a little one-on-one time, and they basically just both lie to each other. Like, he doesn't even explain why he's voting for her. If I was him, I would have gone like, look, I think you beat me at the end.
Yeah.
Because it makes her not see him as a threat anymore, in that sense, you know? Instead, they both just say, sorry, let's try and move forward, and they both know they don't trust each other.
Yeah.
So it's like shaking someone's hand, you're both holding a gun behind your back or something, you know? So.
Yeah, because they're both saying how, you know, the Reba 4 is back. Like the band's, what did they say? The band's getting back together?
Yeah.
You know, for a brief breakup.
What a load of crap.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
And neither of them believe it anyway.
No.
I mean, and Julie doesn't trust Austin either. She almost voted him off instead. So, because she feels betrayed, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just... Like I said, this whole episode was like frustrating at times. So
yeah, I could see that.
So excuse me. I don't know if anything else at that point, unless you want to go right to the challenge. But
Well, no, I'd like to say like the following morning. Then they wake up and Katura gets up first, and she's like, "There's probably another idol in place," so she goes looking for
right
it.
up until 5 people, there should always be an idol somewhere. And yeah, she
Yeah.
gets up, and people are like, "Where's Katura?" And then they go looking for her. So.
Yeah, Austin and Dee go looking for her, and I thought this was a funny moment because she was actually caught off guard when Austin come walking up, and she looks up and she's like, "Oh, you know,
Yeah.
he like scared her."
He
you
gave her a
know?
nice little spook.
And her thing was, there may be one in play, and we don't want Julie to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And that was a good on her to make it like that, like I'm finding it so this person won't, kind of thing.
right,
So.
right. And he actually said, "Oh, you got a good point there."
Yeah,
You know?
they're all still kind of in on just getting rid of Julie at this
Yeah,
point because
yeah.
she's so likable and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and then we go to the reward challenge. So we had a reward challenge for one. Sometimes we don't get this. And so Jeff had it's a weird one. Like they start in the water, or they're on a platform, and they have to swim out, and then there's a barrel they push, and then they have like ropes hanging from like a wooden frame, and you use the ropes to like walk on the rolling barrel.
Yeah,
And you
balance.
and then
yeah.
you grab some keys, and one of the what does the keys do? I don't even know what the keys do.
Well, the keys I think unlock a slide puzzle.
That's
Isn't
right.
that-
Oh
yeah.
yeah, and unlocks it. So yeah, and then it's like it's one of those really small like 5-piece ones, and Jeff's like, it could take you an hour, or you could solve it in 10 seconds, kind of thing. Which is true. We've seen that before. So.
Right.
So people have solved puzzles in like 20 seconds or whatever. So everyone's pretty even in it. They all get to the puzzle. Austin's in the lead because of the physical part, of course. But all the guys kind of take the lead from the physical part, but the women are able to catch up, and everybody's doing the slide puzzle. But eventually, Austin
Wins.
pulls it out.
Yeah.
That's 2 puzzles now that he's handled. So
Oh yeah.
and won. So he gets the reward, which is a picnic on one of those like. It's not even like an island. It's like a little strip of land that sits in the middle of the ocean. You
They
can
call
walk
it a
on.
sand spit.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
And Jeff says, taking you there by helicopter.
Yeah.
And of course, he gets to pick someone to come with him.
Mm-hmm.
So he picks the love of his life, Dee. Oh!
And the other love of his life. No, I'm just kidding.
he picks his favorite person who wanted Bruce voted off, Katura. Did you know Katura wanted Bruce off, by the way?
Really?
Yeah. And she's like, really? Me? And he's more or less like, yeah, I have to pick someone else, unfortunately. That's almost what it felt like. He'd rather just go on a date, it looks like. So.
Yeah, but it was interesting then when he's asked,
Mm-hmm.
as far as when he going to pick the second person. I think it was before Jeff asked, before he picked the second
Yeah,
person.
who you picking?
And why.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought his explanation, he didn't need.
It was like an overshare.
Yeah.
He basically admits to what everyone already knows. He doesn't want to pick Drew, his bro buddy, because he wants him to go back and watch the people they want to vote off.
Right.
And then when they get back to camp, which is Drew, who's pissed because he wanted to go, because he even says, I never get picked for awards. The only reward I've ever been on is the one I won to
Right.
go on. So, and I don't blame them. You know, they seem to pick each other a lot, those others.
Mhm.
But like Julie and Jake both know he's here to babysit us and make sure we don't get in any trouble, you know?
Or go find an idol.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So then he, Drew ends up washing the pot, and we see from the previews where he throws the lid. Him and Julie, they always do this. They try and make things look worse than they are in the preview, I guess, so you'll be more interested. Him and Julie don't fight like they made it seem like. He just says, yeah, they're gonna go get peppers, those two, and they're like, we'll wander off, and he throws the lid down the like hill to go to the ocean so he can wash it. There's no aggression in it other than him being a little frustrated. So.
Yeah.
And so he's washing the pot, and the other two do go looking for an idol. They can't find anything, and he starts looking for him. So, yeah, I do like that Jake's like, so he's like, yeah, we were looking for peppers. We were looking under the trees, under some leaves. There were no peppers under the leaves, you know, so.
He's funny.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, so. And then eventually the helicopter flies over them, and Drew's like, oh, they're coming for an FU. And so the three of them are up there like, hi. And the rest of them are like, kind of waving like, hi, you know.
Yeah.
Drew doesn't even wave. I mean, it is kind of like a douchey move. They already won. They're already going. Why do they got to come and rub it in, you know? At the same time, though, Drew is outright saying, life is unfair, isn't it? And Jake's like, but we're on Survivor, so it could be a lot worse. Like, I agree with both of them. I don't blame Drew for being upset, but saying life is unfair when you're able to go play a game for $1 million, is it really that bad? You know, not to say you wouldn't want the reward. I think his anger is justified, but he's almost overreacting. And Jake's like, dude, like some people can't even come play this game. We're at least here playing. We're still in it, you know. So.
Yeah, well, Jake's got a great attitude,
he's
great
so positive.
outlook.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. But I do, you know, everyone's going to have their moments
right.
of this sucks, you know.
Yeah.
And they should be allowed to have that.
He's allowed to be mad. Yeah.
I don't think I really didn't think he went overboard, but you got your opinion, I got mine.
Right.
You know,
the fact that he says life is unfair, like, you know, there's people who, because they have a lot of like white collar people on now, and it used to be very like diverse occupation wise, and I've seen people say there's not a lot of blue collar people anymore, but with like inflation and crap, people probably can't leave their job for a month anymore.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
to come and play. So you think, hey, you're at least able to come and play. You
Right,
know, so
right.
so I get where Jake's coming from saying chill out. At the same time, I do think he, you know, it's not like he's like yelling at them or taking it out on people.
No,
he's just
no.
upset. I'd probably be upset too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm saying they're both justified in their feelings.
Especially when your number one won it.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been with them
reward.
since the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like I said, he's Austin's number one, but D is Austin is Drew's number one, but D is Austin's number one.
Yeah.
You know, so he's been kind of kicked out of the 2-man group. So not that they're still not buddies and everything, but he's kind of been pushed aside for romance. So
yes. Yeah. Which, by the way, you see that on the helicopter ride.
yeah, Katura says, I forgot, I'm a third wheel in this, and she sees them holding hands and stuff. So
yeah.
I mean, it's in full swing. And we get a couple interesting confessionals where the helicopter lands at the sand spit, they're having their picnic, and they're, you know, in the confessionals, Austin and Dee are being interviewed and everything. Austin finally gives us, I guess, what's his sob story, where he says, I've had self-confidence issues because when I was young, like when he was 8, he was chubby and he had braces. And then in high school, he had acne and everything. Like, I just, you know, I find it a little funny because you have some of these people, like, they're, you know, everybody's almost getting a sob story or whatever. Like, you know, you have Emily, you know, never thinking she'd get married, but after all this, she might want to marry her boyfriend of 10 years. You have Kendra, like, you know, she never knew her biological dad, and then when she finally did meet him, they're really close now, and it makes her happy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Katura with surviving the cult, and you know, and all the things she had, all the things she has like going against her in life. And then you have Austin going, yeah, I used to not be very good looking, and then I got hot. And it's like, and I'm like, yeah, we can all relate, buddy. You know, like I get you can have self-confidence issues, you know, the acne and stuff when you're a teenager, that is rough.
Yes.
But he's a good-looking guy now, and he's saying Dee's intimidating. They're on the same frickin' level at this point. She's not like some supermodel. She's a good-looking woman, but it's like, come on. Yeah, you can get her at this point.
Well, I think it's,
you know?
I don't think it's even just her looks. You know, I mean, no, do I think she's a supermodel? No, she's a cute young girl.
Yeah.
You know, but she does have that, what he calls, she's cool. You know,
yeah,
she does kind of have the cool factor.
She does, yeah.
know?
She's a badass kind of woman who, you know, she doesn't take things lying down, and she's been in control of this game. So
yeah.
I find it funny, like they try and make this all serious, and it's like, yeah, I could see him, I could feel for him more if he was still like looked like a dork, but he's a good looking surfer guy, and he's pretty smart. So I don't know. It's just like they're putting the music and everything, and I'm like, I don't mind him telling this is his life, but the edit is trying to make it a lot more sincere than it's like, come on, how bad's he got it now? He's he's pretty good. So
yeah, but that kind of stuff can stay with you, especially if he seems like he's a good-hearted guy.
Oh, he is.
And so it'd be different if, you know, okay, he was more or less saying that's where his lack of self-confidence comes from.
Right.
He didn't have it growing up, and maybe still doesn't. And to me, that shows that he didn't all of a sudden, you know, no acne, you know, he got buff, and he's a good-looking young guy, and now he's a prick. You know, he's not a prick.
Oh, no. And credit to him for not
he's
turning
still a
out
good
like
guy,
that. Yeah.
and he's, you know what I'm getting at?
Yes,
you know?
I'm saying because like I heard because we've never seen Drew's quote unquote sob story. I don't mean to make it sound like it's not a big deal, but like everyone always tells that like deep personal emotional story at some point. I heard like him and I think Julie's, theirs are hidden behind like, they're like secret scenes. We're never going to see them or whatever. So it's like, so theirs weren't important enough, but Austin's was. So why? I guess for this romance, this showmance angle or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then when Dee's interviewed, she's like, yeah, you know, I didn't think anything of it, you know, but I did like what she said. She's like, you can't trust what a guy says until he puts action behind it. And he proved he really does like have an interest in me. And this is more like about our connection than just strategy because he picked me right away. And you even hear the producer say, so what's going on between you two? You sound smitten. And she's like, I am a little smitten. So
yeah,
it's coming full swing, baby. So so that's what happens on The Reward.
Right.
Eventually they all come back. And at that point, Jake kind of wanders off and he ends up finding a clue in a tree to the hidden immunity idol. And it's in, well, you can tell me. Watching it.
Yeah. So he finds the clue and he's told that it's hidden in a secret compartment in their raft.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, I forget. I know he was like taking off. He went down to his boxers.
Yeah. I think he said, I'm going to go change. And so he's like, if someone sees me, I'll be like half naked. So they'll think I'm changing.
Right. So he can play around and find it on the raft.
Yeah, and I think he just pops a piece of bamboo off, and there's like a cork in the raft or something.
Yeah,
Who would have known that was there? You know?
Oh, I know. It was by chance. You know, he's because I thought for sure it was just going to be like in the tube. But they're bamboo. It's made out of bamboo. Yeah. You know, and in one of the bamboo things, and he looked through all of them. And then he's like kind of grabbing onto one and he's like, no.
It's like fake,
and
that
it comes
part.
off. Yeah. And there it is. So I was happy for that.
I was too, yeah. And so he's got, because he even says, he's like, he knows he doesn't have a good shot at winning. So he says, he's like, I got to do something like flashy in front of the jury and that can win him over maybe. So, because the jury is endearing to him. They always seem like sad when he might get voted off because they do like him. And a lot of them are ex-Bello and he's one of the only Bellos left. And he's one that people didn't really have a problem with. But at the same time, his game hasn't been the greatest. So if he can get that too, then he has likability and strategy going for him. So
yeah, right.
So yeah, he got the idol, and then they head off to do the immunity challenge.
Right.
And so
which is they stand on a platform, and then with one foot, they have to balance a ball on this like long plank. But that's it. You have one leg, straight up and down, the other one bent, holding this thing so that the ball doesn't fall off, which is a very awkward position.
Yeah.
You need strength in those legs, that's for sure.
Yeah, I imitated this at home with no starvation or elements messing with me, and I lasted about 2.5 minutes. I lasted better than like two people. Like a couple people went out real quick. I don't remember who went first, but several people just drop like within a minute or two. Yeah. And then I dropped, even though I'm not actually there. And then it comes down to just Austin, Dee, and Drew. And they go like 12 minutes, I think. And I don't know how these people do that. But Dee is unmoving this entire time.
Right. Her ball doesn't move.
Not at all. Austin, for the first like 10 minutes or so, he doesn't move at all. Drew gets to 12 minutes and then he drops. And his name's been floating around a little, and I think he knows it, especially because Julie's now again wants him gone because of what he did to her. And then Jeff tells the last two, the couple, he's like, the record when we tested this was 21 minutes, and they end up going 22 or whatever. And Dee still just does not move. She actually starts like trash talking and trying to get in their heads, be like, "Why you moving? You feeling okay? I'm great."
To Austin, no less.
To him too, to try and psych him out. He takes it as like playful because she's not like being mean, but she is. You can tell she was trying to win. You know. Yeah. And he's like trying to save both guys. Like when they started struggling, they're saving, but then both of them give out at their respective times. Austin loses. Dee wins immunity for the second time now. So, her and her big toes. it was like episode 5 or something. She tells that story. Yeah, I have really long toes, and it like goes on for a while. And it's like, what is the point? I figured this was either a joke and she was going to be voted off in 2 episodes, or this is like a random fact that might happen later and she'll be important. Well, both immunity challenges she won was with your feet, because the first one she won is when you hug that tall pole with your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And now if the next immunity challenge is with your feet, she just wins. So, because she just has amazing...
Her and her big toes.
Yeah, her big toes grant her, like, extra leg power.
Yeah, they're like a half inch longer than her other ones, or maybe an inch. Not an inch, that would be crazy.
You know, if you look at, like, even my feet, because I walk around barefoot, they're slightly longer, but hers are, like, a whole nother toe longer.
Obscenely longer.
Yeah. And the rest of hers are like almost like squared and flat. You know,
Yeah.
they seem like the same height, even though it's supposed to be like a staircase or whatever. But
Yeah.
so she has really big toes, and they grant her extra foot power. So I don't, you know, if she kicks you in the neck, it's gonna go. The toe goes right through you, I think.
Ugh.
So who needs a knife in the boot when you got these big toes? So.
Yeah.
But credit to her, she gets the win. So she, once again, it's not even that she needed it, because nobody wants to vote her out.
Yeah.
Which I still don't get,
Hmm.
but okay. So we get back to camp. People start strategizing. I know that you don't have your notes because you watched this part without taking notes.
Yeah,
so,
I watched the second half a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and I just watched the first half before we started this.
tisk, mother. So the strategy kind of go, you know, there's, some people say Jake because he's easy, even though
Yeah.
that's not the case. A lot like Drew kind of tells everybody else, he's like, so we're just doing Julie again, right? Because she can't save herself again, and she's still a big threat to win. And everybody's like, yeah, let's do it. And Dee ends up, her and Julie say, well, why don't we do Drew? And Julie even says, Drew's a threat because he can... Is it she who says it, or Katurah? Because Katurah and Jake kind of say, we got to blindside somebody. It can't be one of us. You know, we got to get rid of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so they start agreeing. Somebody says, Drew's a threat at Final 3 because he could talk his way to the win. And that's
Yes.
what we were saying. Even though his gameplay hasn't been stellar compared to some people, he's very good at talking, and he could make people think, oh, maybe him. So they start going... He is none the wiser to what is going on. He actually, we get multiple confessionals of him saying, I think I've played pretty well. I'm in a pretty good position. I trust the people I'm with. And I'm watching this. I'm like, this is the villain's downfall. Drew's not a villain, but so many people have been trying to paint him like that because he's a little arrogant and a little like, he can get a little mad or what. I don't see it. People are
Arrogant's a good word.
He is arrogant, but we're seeing the gag that's being made of him in this last episode where he's like, I feel pretty good. We're gonna get rid of Julie. It's not gonna be that bad. And then you have 4 other people going Drew. You know, so and here's a fun little parallel. Dee goes, yeah, it may, you know, Drew's already against Reba at this point. It makes sense to get rid of him at this stage. And she goes, what do I do about Austin? Because he wants to go to the end with him. He's still, he's his friend and everything. And she's like, and he was kind enough to trust me and let me know of the plan, which I ended up changing, you know, of the Julie vote.
Mm-hmm.
So she sits down with Austin and thinks, yeah, I feel bad about, you know, like if I don't tell him. And she doesn't tell him.
No.
Once again, I'm telling you, it is painting this perfect parallel of Austin wanting Dee's heart and then playing the game in the background, and Dee wanting to win the game and maybe wanting Austin's heart.
Mm-hmm.
He is sinking his game. I think Austin's a great guy, but he is sinking his game for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
If he betrayed her, I think he wins this game, and that's not going to happen. So
no, I don't think so.
He will maybe get a girlfriend out of this. He ain't getting that $1 million, though. I find it, I'll never say never, but I find it very hard to believe. And here we go. He told her the plan because he didn't want to blindside her. And she goes, man, I don't want to blindside him, but doesn't tell him anyway because it's better for her vote. Because then he could play his idol on Drew and save him. Drew has his advantage too, I think, still. The one where he could leave tribal.
Oh, that's right.
But he's not worried it's him, which I think is a little weird because he's got to at least know Julie's gunning for him.
Yeah, and you're down to 6. And you're not contemplating it could be you after you blindsided Julie?
If I was with this alliance and I turned on them and then the person saved themselves, I think... Yeah, at this stage, let me think about it like this. He thinks it's him, Dee, and Austin. If it was in him, I don't think he'd be worried about Austin, and Dee's safe. I'd use that. If I was him, I think I would have used that advantage. I think he could still play it. I think that goes till 6 or 5. I think, unless it was 7 and he can't because he never mentions it, but he never used it. So I'd play it, leave tribal. They can't vote me. He doesn't know they're voting him, but that's his arrogance right there, thinking no one's even going to gun for him.
With that one, does he leave before they vote?
Yes.
Oh, he gets to hear everything.
That's the downside. As soon as Jeff says time to vote, if you're not comfortable, you say, I'm playing this, which means you leave tribal and you can't be voted for, but you don't vote either. It's, what is it? Safety without power. Because you can't decide the outcome, but you can decide your own outcome. So
okay.
That's it. We've seen this once or twice ever used. It's not used a lot. I think it's a pretty clever one, though.
Yeah.
See, we're watching and going, oh, his name's getting thrown around. But his arrogance is kind of saying, I think I'm good. I'm not really worried.
Yeah. Which to me is a little bit of not only arrogance, but stupidity. When you're down to this 6.
6, yeah.
And like I said, a little bit stupid because of you've got to. I don't care how much you think your alliance is with you
at this stage.
Yeah, at this stage, you still got to kind of think outside the box and go,
Yeah, because an alliance, no matter what, is temporary. Once you get to this point, you do need to start thinking about yourself. Robin, his cult, he had him under the palm of his hand. He still played the immunity idol he had, and he told them, I'm going to play this just to be safe, kind of thing. Tony had no safety, but he knew it because he couldn't win anymore, and he was able to convince people not to vote for him, which was, I don't know how that didn't happen, but, just relating to other situations.
Yeah.
These really good players, even when they're in power, they go, it could still happen. It could still be me. I got to be careful,
Yes.
And so, at this stage, final 6, you can't blame people for voting you. And he's the one who turned on his alliance first. So why wouldn't you think you're a target, buddy? And
if he looked at the reward that, Austin took Dee and Katurah. I might even be thinking, is he going to get with them and maybe bring Julie in? And, I don't know. I think it was
a foolish thing to not even consider.
Yes.
He doesn't even mention, and that's why he looks like a fool in this. He looks pretty competent all throughout the season, but then here's the dramatic downfall where he's like, yeah, I'm good. And you're seeing it and hearing it. I'm like, it's probably going to be him. So, and we go to tribal. There's not even all that much said other than Julie still thinks she's a target. They could be anybody, and they end up voting, and it's 2 votes for Julie and 4 votes for Drew.
Yeah.
Did he have it coming? Yeah. After everything he did and if he played that advantage, that would have been so smart if he played that advantage for himself. The other thing is Austin has to play his immunity idol tonight, otherwise it doesn't work anymore. So he plays it on himself.
Yeah.
Even though he was pretty sure he didn't need it anyway, but he just figured he'd use it. And at that point, it's not like a misuse, but he didn't know. Imagine if he played on Drew just for shits and giggles, that would have been crazy. So I keep watching. It's like, oh, if Drew played that advantage or Austin played that on him, it would have been hilarious how it would have flipped the script again.
Yeah.
But instead, I really do like this season, but so many people are playing with blinders on. Like they're not considering like things not going their way. So many times it just goes the way they think or whatever. And then the person who gets voted off is the person who thought it was going their way and it wasn't. So it's crazy how how these people, they're super fans and they're not suspicious. Normally super fans are overly paranoid. So these guys are too comfortable. And you can see Austin's like, what just happened? When Drew's pissed, they say, bye, Drew. He don't say a thing. And I get it. He got blindsided. And of course, bitchy Mick shocked face on the jury goes, oh, he's pissed. That's how Kelly talks now. So even though he's the one who blindsided her, if she wants her comeuppance, she gets it. But she's laughing about it, and it's like, how vindictive are you? So I think we're going to have a bitter jury. I'm actually kind of excited for it. We're going back to Sue giving the rat and the snake speech here. I really see Kelly, Kendra, and now Drew all being like,
Even
towards him.
Emily sitting there had the pissed off look on her face.
She looked mad. I think hers might be more mad at herself or something because it went that way. I would assume, because who can she be mad at,
Yeah.
Unless maybe she's
it's
mad
a game.
Yeah.
She's smart enough to know it's a game.
Yeah, hers I think is still trying to process what went wrong kind of thing because she didn't like latch out. I love Bruce. He just sits there like stone faced, like nothing phases the guy. So,
well, hopefully he's taking it all in and going to make a very wise decision when the time comes, and not be like the Kendra and Kelly, shocked at everything that happens.
Right. I find it hard to believe they're going to vote for the best player. They're going to vote for whoever they like hate the least. So
like who didn't screw him over.
Yeah. Which we'll see who gets to the end here.
Which is so ignorant and childish.
Yeah.
So,
but we'll find out, I guess, when the votes are read. So, did I think Drew was going to make it to the end? I really didn't. I thought maybe they could take him to try and make him look bad or whatever, and so you could beat him or whatever, but I really felt like he would be cut short close to the end. He played a good enough game to get pretty far, but not get to the end kind of thing.
Mm.
He couldn't account for his best buddy falling in love, though. So, no one's prepared for that. You got to be adaptable, and you can't adapt to that situation. So, it's less that I wanted him to win, and more just I'm bummed he's gone when you got people like Katurah, who is just so boring to me. Like, she doesn't do anything, I have nothing against her as a person, but she's not a captivating player,
No.
So it's like, but the smart thing is to keep someone who's not captivating because then they don't look as good compared to other people. It's just like, we lost Emily, we lose Drew, we're losing all the interesting people. Dee's playing a decent game, but I find her boring too. So, I don't know. I'm not entertained by her, so not saying she doesn't deserve to win. I'm just saying I'm not entertained. So as a viewer, so, so yeah, but we're now down to 5. That means any one of them can take it, and they're they're all in the finale together. So there's only one more episode.
Yeah. So I still, I'm almost like
it's hard to pick at 3 now.
Well, yeah. I got to pick 3 out of 5.
Okay, you don't have to pick 3.
How about 2?
Okay, we'll go 2 since there's only 5.
Well, my 2 are Austin and Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still there. I'm going to say I want Austin or Jake to win. It's weird. Even though Austin is playing like a complete dunderhead at this point, I still am endeared enough to him that I want to see him win. I don't know, because he was playing a really good game, but now he's been completely blinded by his feelings towards Dee.
Yeah.
I exaggerate when I say the love of his life and all that, but he's making these decisions not based on his game, but based on how she'll react to it.
Yes.
So it's...
And Rob never did that.
No, the only thing Rob did wrong was bring her to the end.
Yeah.
Which he said I would bring her, take her with him to the end, go with her to the end. Because you don't, if he took Jenna, he might have beat her, even though people were still mad at him. Some of them, but who knows if Amber would have still voted for him or not. Besides, if he didn't bring her, he wouldn't have gotten a wife out of it. So even though he didn't win the money, which I think he should have, he still married the person who won the money, and he's been with her ever since, so he still gets a happy ending. Love is very different these days. The whole dating scenario is very different these days. There's a good chance these two, once it's over, never see each other again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's throwing away his shot $1 million for it. So, I don't know. But it just, I still, I don't know. Austin was my number 1 for so long. And then when I watch him, tell her shit that he shouldn't be telling her, I feel like I think I prefer Jake now. Because he's been fighting the whole time.
I know. That's where, it's like I don't want to give up on Austin because I still like him.
Yeah.
But his...
I've lost a little respect for his gameplay, so...
Yeah. I mean, with her and that, because I'm not a huge fan of hers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I had, loved her and loved them together, I'd probably think differently.
Yeah.
But I'm not crazy about her, even though she's a strong player.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, him, like you said, blowing up his game over a chick.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I look at Jake, who I have really liked throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And even more so now after him finding that idol and
Yeah.
that, and he's so pleasant and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, I know yeah.
I'm gonna say I think I'm gonna say Jake is my number 1, Austin's my number 2. They're the ones I want to see win, but my prediction is if Dee gets final 3, she wins. That's how I foresee this right now. However, if Dee doesn't win immunity at 5, Jake could play his idol. I mean, he should play it no matter what at final 5 because that's the only time he can use it anyway. Save him because they might go after him now. Save himself and blindside her. He could win off of that.
Yeah.
Because if you take out the best player, that makes you look really good.
Yeah, but
so.
how would he do that? I mean, he could maybe get him and Katurah, but I
Right.
don't think he could get Julie and Austin on board.
It would have to be where the Rebas vote for him.
Oh, that's right.
Or Katurah, I guess. He plays the idol for one of them, saves them, and then those two get rid of D.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, right.
But I think he would vote Julie in that situation anyway, because he said her and Drew were his next targets.
Well, he could change his mind.
He could change. The only way, I don't know. It's such a mind F because literally out of the 5 of them, the only one I think can't win is Katurah, and even she could technically pull it out. Who's the third lawyer? There's 3. Is Julie a lawyer? Because there's 3
I just
lawyers.
saw what she did for a living. I think she's like a real estate lawyer, maybe.
Okay, because I know Katurah's a lawyer and nobody knows. Jake's a lawyer and everybody knows. And there's a third one, and I've been hearing the trend of the 3 lawyers making it to the end or whatever. And since they're all lawyers, they could all talk their way into $1 million. I just think Katurah has the least likelihood of winning because she has the least impressive game out of everybody.
Yeah.
And she's not the most likable either. She's just, like I said, just kind of there. You know?
Yeah.
At least Jake is bumbling and funny and, like, not like a bumbling fool, but like a goofy guy, you know? So he's always making jokes and stuff. So, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how this is going to play out. I really am. I'm going to sit here and say it now. If Dee makes it to the end, she wins. And if she don't, it could literally anybody's game. So that's how I see it. So.
Yes.
Because, and the reason I'm bland by her, I think I told you this, is like, you can mark their confessionals. There's people who do that. Early on, like Emily and Caleb were getting all the confessionals. And yeah, they were going to tribal all the time, so we just saw more of them. But when you, if Dee's the winner, she was like 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 7, 2, 1. Like, she barely talked.
Per episode?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then these last 2 episodes, we've seen her like 9, 10 times. And yeah, there's a lot less people now, but it's like, so that means either she's been so bland that there's nothing to show, or they're purposely trying to, like, keep her hidden, and only now is she the big threat, or whatever, or see more. I don't know. But we'll find out, I guess. So
yeah.
I'm still excited for the finale, and that'll mean that it's our last podcast episode, too. So.
Oh, I'll miss you.
I'll miss you, too. It's like we don't live in the same house. But any final thoughts, Mother, about what's going on?
As you, I'm looking forward to the finale now. Yeah, it's, I'm excited to see how this all plays out, of course. Yeah, may the best man or woman win.
Yeah, that's kind of it. So,
all right. It's a man. Jake.
Specifically.
Or Austin.
All right, well, thank you for listening in with us. And as always, we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.